welcome to Pac-12 Media Day, presented to you by Circa Sports and Circa Resorts and Casino, I should say. I'm not Mike Luke, and that's okay, because I am a U of A guy, just like you guys all want, and I'm excited to do this. We're here at Resorts World, which is a pretty unique setup. It's pretty dope. We got Caleb Williams over here from USC talking to some of the media. We got Jedd Fisch about to come on here at the top of the hour, and then we have Treydan Stukes, who should be coming along here any moment now within the next 10 minutes. So enjoy. It's going to be fun, and we're going to go along for this ride for the next 2 days. It's just going to be me and you. How about that? Sean, our producer, is right here.
Yo.
He's probably going to pipe in every now and then because being solo is just not fun. You know what I'm saying? So if you have any questions in the chat, please put them in there. But again, we got a lot to get to. We're going to start off with the commissioner of the Pac-12, George Kliavkoff. He had some comments today that were he towed the company line, people. That's exactly what he did. He said exactly what we thought he was going to do. He did not announce a media rights deal, but he did talk about the fact that a media rights deal will be announced shortly, or soon, or in the near future, or however you want to phrase it, which basically means that there is no media rights deal, and they're still trying to figure shit out. So here we are with that. He talked about the conference being in the best place it's been in the last 2 decades. Again, that's you could take that with a grain of salt. I don't really know if that's true, Sean. I really don't know if this is the best place the conference has been in the last 2 decades. But if you want to compare it to the Larry Scott era, it 1,000,000% is in a better place than it used to be. I would say that.
I mean, I feel like it's hard to say that's in the best place it's been in. You're losing your or at least your biggest moneymaker. But, I mean, there's reasons to be excited, right? Obviously, I heard some of the other people around here talking, just the excitement that the Sanders family brings, for example.
Sure.
DJ Uyunglele. There's exciting things, but it's definitely not the...
You're not going to get me to say that name.
DJ Uyunglele?
Yeah, I'm not going to say that name.
I love that name.
Say it again?
DJ Uyunglele.
DJ
Uyunglele.
Uyunglele.
I believe.
Uyunglele. There we go. That's a tough name to say anyway. Anyway, it's going to be fun today, folks. Like I said, if you have any questions, put them in the chat. I'll get to them at the end of the show. But in the meantime, we'll be talking to a couple different people. We're going to have some fun. They are going to put out a statement about JDL and basically talking about that whole situation. And he's not going to be taking a tour individually, but he will be speaking at the press conference. And we have been told that they are going to make a statement, and that's the only thing that they're going to address about that. And so when Jedd Fisch comes on, just know that we're not going to talk about that. We're not going to talk about any of the stuff that's going on. We know you want the answers to that, and hopefully when we get into the media scrum, we will have those answers. But we've been told that that's the only thing that they're going to address. So even if I ask right now, they're just going to shut it down. They might even end the interview. I don't know what would happen. So we're just going to go ahead and play fair game. We're going to see how this all unfolds. And then in addition to that, we're going to talk to Treydan Stukes, like I mentioned before. But going back to the commissioner, Sean, I did not believe for a second. First of all, I thought it was very apt. I forgot who at the end of the press conference asked and said, first, when you say that you're not going to talk about a media rights deal because you want to focus, because the wording he used was, we want to focus on football today, and we don't want to distract from that. If you had a media rights deal, that would only enhance this. You know what I mean?
No,
like,
I agree.
If it was something to boost up, you wouldn't ignore it and walk away from it. This is something you would want to draw attention to. Like, hey, folks, not only do we have one of the best players, we have top-notch players in this conference, and we want to celebrate that. But guess what? You're going to be able to see it across the country because we got this, and we got this, and we got this. But that didn't happen today, Sean.
Yeah, no, I mean, I feel like they made the bet, so they had to figure out a way to spin it, right? Like, oh, we didn't want to distract.
Yeah.
But I mean, the reality is, like you said, if they had the media rights deal, there's no questions about the media rights deal, unless it's a bad one, I suppose, which maybe that's the situation. If the media rights deal kind of sucks and they have it ready, then maybe they were waiting to – it's better to field questions and say we don't have anything as opposed to fielding questions about why the media rights deal is not that good.
Yeah.
So we'll see, but I agree with you that it definitely doesn't make a whole lot of sense. You would have thought if they had it figured out, there'd be no distraction.
Yeah, you would think so. You would say so. And then the last thing that I would say is that when they were talking about the media rights deal specifically, he did mention that the longer that they wait, the better the deal's going to get. and the better the deals have gotten. And I just don't understand that. I joked around with the guys and I said that's the pitch I probably should have used with my wife. Hey, the longer you wait to go on a date with me, the better this is going to get. Maybe it would have worked, maybe it wouldn't have worked, but I'm married now, so it's cool. Whatever I did worked. Whatever the commissioner is doing is not working because they don't have a deal, and I don't feel like they're realistic about the promise of better deals to come, especially not in wake of all. You're looking around the sports media landscape right now, and things are throttling back. Like ESPN is making cuts. People are laying people off, or entities are laying people off. I just don't feel like we're being really genuine about the forecast of this conference right now. And so it's a tough position for this. And with Colorado being rumored to go to the Big 12, Arizona being rumored but not all the way in. It looks like Colorado is probably the most likely right now, and Arizona would be a tier below that, and then it's everybody else. And with USC and UCLA leaving the conference next year, I just don't understand where we're going as a conference.
Yeah, no, I don't. I mean, you said everything. It just doesn't. It just feels like a lot of lip service. Like they're just kind of lying to us. Like anybody with half a brain can look at the conference right now and tell it is not in the best position. And it's hard to believe that you're going to get the best media deal when the conference itself is not the most, or it's probably the least attractive it's been in recent history.
Yeah, for sure. Like I said, folks, Treydan Stukes is coming through here momentarily. We're excited to have him. But, going back to the whole conference, I think one of the things that we need to focus on when we're talking about the conferences, there are a lot of good teams in this conference. And I would say in regard to Kliavkoff's comments about this being the best, situation or the best the conference has ever been in the last 2 decades, I would tend to agree to a certain degree. I think
from a football perspective.
From a football perspective, yeah. And we're talking about depth. I'm not necessarily talking about cream of the crop because there's nothing to compare to the 2005 USC teams and stuff like that, right?
But I mean, it's not like they don't have the cream of the crop. They have the defending Heisman winner.
They do have
the defending Heisman winner
and a national championship contender in USC for sure, 1,000,000%. You have Washington, who is loaded,
and they probably would have. They would have had a good chance of making the playoff last year if ASU hadn't beat them.
Exactly.
So there's a handful of teams. And then, we said earlier, DJ Uyunglele, Shadur Sanders. Like, there was an influx of new talent and just pretty good talent that was here last year that's returning.
I think each game, outside of maybe like the Stanfords of the world and even Cal.
Cal got put ahead of ASU in the poll. I don't know about all that, but it did happen.
It is what it is.
Yeah.
I think when you're talking about the cream of the crop, it's going to be exciting. Every game is going to be like must-see TV, and I'm excited for that.
And I mean, even Stanford, like Stanford-Cal is always a game, even if they suck. Like, it's a big rivalry. So, you'll get good games from everyone in the conference, I think.
Yeah, for sure. So, comments right now. Zona Tucson says he's fired up. Let's go. Cole, how embarrassing was the Commish? Yeah, I mean, I agree. B-Cat says lies, all lies. Again, and then James says, I don't understand why Arizona would even humor the idea of staying in this conference at this point. There is no future here. I mean, I tend to agree. I've long said that the Arizona Wildcat program and ASU together should go to the Big 12.
Yeah.
I just feel like the future is much brighter there. I feel like, especially from a basketball standpoint, they can get more out of this. And right now we got Treydan Stukes, who is going to be joining us. He's coming around the corner right now. And we're ready to go. Here we go. Treydan Stukes coming on live right here. How's it going, man?
How you doing?
Good. Treydan, how's it going, man?
I'm doing well. How about yourself?
Fantastic. You excited?
Yeah, I am.
I'm
feeling
hyped
good now. I'm awake. It's been a little bit.
I feel you. It's a little early in the morning out here in Vegas, but the temperature is the same.
Yeah. I mean, everyone says that, but it's hot in Arizona.
Yeah, it's true. Folks, you were talking to the pride of Litchfield, Arizona, Litchfield Park, Arizona, Millennium High School. First of all, how's your off season going, and how are you prepping for this season? What things did you look at, from last season that you really wanted to focus on to improve this year?
I started by putting some weight on for sure, and then
how much weight? Where would we go? Where we start? Where are we at?
I was playing at about 183 last season. So, yeah, I was a little on the skinnier side for sure.
Okay.
I put on about like 10 pounds.
Okay.
So, I've been – and then the next step was obviously getting used to it, getting my speed back at a heavier weight.
Yeah, because you used to run track and field in high school.
I did, yeah.
Okay.
I did do a lot of track. But, yeah, the offseason has been good. I've just been focusing on my health, keeping my body healthy. Getting better in every facet of the game, in the classroom and physically, obviously, lifting a bunch of weights and stuff.
You were on the honor roll or something like that, right, at U of A? Or
Yeah, last semester.
There you go, academically.
I got that.
Yeah, there you go. One of the things that I always find interesting when it comes to college athletes, and yourself, okay, you grew up in Arizona, you came through Arizona, you get down to U of A, first year. Didn't get too many reps. You played a little bit, but not too many. Second year, a little bit more. Last year, significantly more. Started 7 games last year. What keeps you locked into the program as you move forward, and what makes you feel like now this is your third year? I'm sorry, that you're going to be playing for Coach Fisch, and what keeps you locked into this program and refuse to like maybe test the transfer portal and things of that nature?
I've always felt welcome here, even when Coach Fisch came in and inherited players that he didn't recruit, and he brought in his own coaching staff. I never felt like I was an outsider. Like, I always felt like they did a great job making it like a family-oriented place to play. So it always felt good. What was the other part of the question? A lot of players when maybe they face adversity, they think, okay, well, maybe I can go find greener pastures elsewhere. What's kept you locked in here? Just the family environment? Really,
okay.
Yeah, it's really been that. And then my teammates, like, I built connections with the new teammates now. I had connections with the team before, so I really didn't want to leave these guys. I'm comfortable here. I like it.
Okay.
I like being in my home state too, so
yeah,
it all worked out for me.
It's beautiful. I'm born and raised in Arizona myself, so I feel you.
What part are you from?
Well, I actually grew up in Tempe. I was like a mile away from ASU, but I'm a Wildcat because I went to U of A because I was I'm not going to be down there. I'm not doing that. You know what I mean? One of the other things I did want to ask you, okay, everybody wants to know, can we get more than 4 picks this season as a secondary?
Yeah, that is the one part we know we came up short. We've been working on it. We've been on the jugs, all off season. So that's been the main focus for us is, finding ways to get our hands on the ball for sure.
For sure. What are your goals for this season? Like, what are you looking at in terms of like at the end of the season? If I get this accomplished, I'm gonna feel like I'm on the right track.
For me, I don't really like to set numerical goals. I like to just say I want to play my best each and every week. Like, I don't want to look back and be like, I wish I would have did this or did that. I just want to make sure that I'm giving my all so that I can look back and be like, all right, if I messed up, at least I did it, going full speed.
Yeah, for sure. So. What is the environment like in a Jedd Fisch run program? Like, listen, I'm not behind the scenes. I'm not in those locker rooms. I don't know what he says when we're passing him in the hallway. Like, what is the vibe and what does he do that just makes him unique?
He's just as personable as he is with all of you guys. So, he's always, cracking jokes and stuff. But, when it's time to get serious, he's serious. He makes sure we understand what needs to be done, what the message is going into camp especially. So, yeah, I think, he does it as good as anyone I've ever seen.
There's a lot of pride in Arizona. Like I said, you're from Arizona yourself. You see guys like Elijah Rushing commit to U of A. And the dynamic is starting to change a little bit. And I'm not trying to give them credit or anything like that, but I do like the fact that Kenny Dillingham himself is an Arizona guy, and both coaches are really embracing trying to keep Arizona players in the state.
Yeah.
What does that mean to you, and how people just sleep on the talent that is in Arizona, don't they?
Oh, yeah. That's obviously I'm biased, but I've just always felt like Arizona did not get enough recruiting credit. There's a lot of talent in Arizona, and, I'm glad to see that there's people understanding and realizing that there's elite players all over the state here. So
We know what typically players and coaches are always going to say. It's only the next game's the most important game. I get it. I know. I get it. However, there's always a couple games on the schedule that you're like, ooh, Mississippi State, USC. Like, what games are you just know you're going to be excited to play in those games?
Yeah, that's a good question for sure. I think I am looking forward to playing USC. I had a couple of my guys. They transferred over there, and I still love them, but it'll be fun to go against them. Like, they're one of the first people I was like, I felt comfortable with here.
You always want to beat your boys.
Yeah, that's always the best, being your homeboy. Obviously the rival game, I'm from closer to ASU than U of A, so I'm trying to win that one for sure. Got that one circled. Yeah, I think all the rest are, they're going to be as important. This next game's important.
You excited to go out to SEC country? Because you always hear about it. It's always like overhyped and like, oh, they're just a different breed out there and all this other stuff.
I am I'm excited to see the environment for sure. It's going to be a long plane ride, and we're probably going to get back home pretty late, but that's the only part I'm not looking forward to. But yeah, I am looking forward to seeing that culture out there.
For sure. Well, Treydan, we appreciate you joining us on the show today. Best of luck to you moving forward. Stay healthy and keep grinding, man.
Thank you.
Always.
I appreciate that.
All right, brother.
Thanks
we'll
for
see you,
having
man. All right, Treydan Stukes, phenomenal athlete, phenomenal secondary player, defensive back for your Arizona Wildcats. We're excited to have him on the show. All right, man. Listen, first of all, like, when you're from Arizona, you represent the Four Peaks, baby. And Four Peaks is one of the best craft breweries in the state. You should go check them out. Check out their brewery. They got a lot of cool things going on. Also, if you can't make it to the brewery, you should go check out our takeover that we will have from time to time. And one of those takeovers will be at the Four Peaks Brewery. Go check out the Four Peaks Brewery anytime you go see a D-backs takeover at Chase Field. It's phenomenal craft beer. The setting right there in right field. It's a gorgeous environment. We've been there. We've had a few drinks. Sean and I have had a few beers over there. Fantastic, right, Sean?
Absolutely.
And so you can check out Four Peaks on Twitter, on Instagram, the whole 9 yards, at Four Peaks Brew and at Four Peaks Pub to keep up with the latest at Arizona's hometown brewery. You must be 21 or older to drink Four Peaks, and please drink responsibly. And folks, as I mentioned, I know we're here at Resorts World, but tomorrow we'll be back at Circa. Circa, if you didn't follow our Summer League content, you should. You million percent should. You should come out because Circa is phenomenal. The experience at Circa is second to none. The environment is just, it's choice. We've been to several different casinos. That's what you do in Vegas. You casino hop, right? But Circa, I mean, first of all, I'm a big navy blue color guy.
Oh, yeah, the interior, the hallways.
Oh, man, it's beautiful. It's like matte navy blue with the gold accents.
It's luxurious.
I almost want to take that style and put it in my own house because it's so gorgeous.
Your office is kind of like that.
Yeah, it is.
A lot of dark blue.
See, I got style. You know what I mean? So you should come out to Circa Resorts and Casino because it is phenomenal. A 3-story stadium swim, which is amazing.
That was one of the craziest things I've ever seen.
It's amazing. They got great music going on all the time. The drinks are fantastic. They got, I feel it's like a million different places to eat inside, including Victory Burger.
Poolside blackjack tables.
Yep. Poolside blackjack tables. They got a 143 by 40 foot LED screen, and it's open 365 days a year. 6 pools, 2 spas. What more can you ask for? So check them out at circaresorts.com. You can go to any of those Circa Resorts. I'm sorry, you can go to Circa Resorts and have a phenomenal time. It's just second to none. Check them out, and make sure that you follow them on Twitter and Instagram as well, because they do a good job of socialing out any type of deals that they have. So check them out at circaresorts.com. All right. First of all, Treydan was fantastic. He was a walk-on, and now he's one of the leaders. The fact that he's here as a representative from the school speaks volumes about who he is as an individual. So excited that he was able to join us. And here in about 15 to 20 minutes, Jedd Fisch will also be joining us as well. But listen, man, this is going to be a very important season for Jedd Fisch and company. And the reason why is because they have a lot on the line. And let me just say it like this. Pac-12 rankings, obviously, they came out, and Arizona was placed 8th. I'd like to say placed because I don't really feel like the rankings do it justice. I just feel like from an overall perspective, Arizona might be 8th in the conference in terms of where they were placed, but I feel like they're going to be better than that. So let's go through this conference right now. ASU 10th, and then Colorado was placed 11th, and that's where U of A was a year ago. They were placed 11th in the pack, and they exceeded expectations. They finished up 5-7, and they had a couple games that they could have won to get them bowl eligible, and we all know that. We're all heartbroken. That Washington State game towards the end of the season, to me, was just such a deflating game, and you hope that they improve this season. Let's start off. Let's go down the schedule, and I'm going to give you my predictions as to what I think is going to happen. First of all, you know they're going to get the dub against NAU. That's easy, cakewalk. They should murder them. They should put up a 100-burger on them. Number 2, at Mississippi State, that's going to be really tough, and I'm not trying to give Mississippi State credit, but the fact that you got to travel across the country, you got to play.
Starksville is different.
You got to play in a swampy ass stadium. The humidity is just different. Like you got to catch your breath when you get off the plane. Like it's a little bit different all the way across the board. So I'm going to chalk that one up as an L. I hope they surprise me. It has happened before. I've even seen my other alma mater, Kansas State, go into Starksville and beat Mississippi State in a similar setting. So it can be done. They'll come back home, and then they'll beat UTEP. I feel like they'll be 2-1 at that point as they head into conference season, and then they'll beat Stanford because Stanford is trash, and they will be 3-1 at that point. And then here comes kind of the murderer's row, back-to-back games against Washington at home and then USC on the road. That's really, really tough. You can beat Washington, but you've got to play defense. You've got to play elite defense. Listen. Why can I not remember the quarterback's name? Lefty.
Oh man.
Quarterback, Washington.
Michael Penix Jr.
Yeah,
Jesus.
Penix. He's going to be a top 10 NFL draft pick because he's got arm talent out the yin-yang. And then you got 2 of the best quarterbacks in the conference in back-to-back weeks. And then you got Caleb Williams, who could be the potential number 1 overall pick, maybe future Arizona Cardinal. We'll see. And so that's just a tough sledding. I'm going to chalk those up as L's. So now you're 3-3 as you go to Washington State. Big game on the road, and I think this is where the season turns, okay? You've just gotten through halfway through the slate. They got to get that win at Washington State. That's not an easy road game. Nobody wants to go to Pullman. Pullman is terrible. Nobody wants to go up to that middle of nowhere Washington. They'll get the W there because that's where everything turns around. I do believe they're going to beat Oregon State at home, and I do believe they're going to beat UCLA at home in back-to-back home games, and I do believe they're going to go to Colorado, and they're going to spank that ass. Deion's not ready for this. He's not ready. That whole squad is not ready for this. And then they'll come back home. They might take the L against Utah. Cam Rising is just fantastic.
I'm still not over the
Oregon State.
Oregon State.
Oregon State is legit. Don't get me wrong. But again,
one of the best defenses in the conference last year.
I've seen this before with Oregon State when they had a decent squad, and then they come to U of A in the middle of October, and it's still kind of warm, and it's just a different environment. It's just different, right? And then they wrap up the season, of course, at ASU. We're throwing those forks down, baby, because we're not losing to ASU this year. That'll be back-to-back seasons. I feel like we're going to be ASU. So we'll see. Sean's going to just put himself on mute because he can't respond to this. Not on this show. You can say it on your show if you want, but I'm excited about what's about to happen for this squad. That's my prediction. I think 8-4 is possible. I think 6-6 and really 7-5. They hit 7-5. I'm going to be extremely satisfied with the direction of this program. 6-6, you accomplished your goal of getting to a bowl, but I'd like to see 7-5 or better. I think that's reasonable.
I think that's fair. I had
a couple upsets in there.
Yeah, no, I mean, obviously, like you said, the Oregon State, UCLA, those aren't going to be easy. And then obviously, I'm not going to. The ASU game is just it's a robbery. Anything can happen in that, so it's hard to know. And obviously, ASU is a pretty big question mark, new coach and all that. But I definitely think it's possible. Would you say that anything less than bowl eligibility is a failure?
Yes. Yeah, you can't go 5-7 last year and then not do the same thing this year. Like that just can't happen. So,
listen, I would like to see it. I would love to see y'all come into the Territorial Cup with a great record.
That's the other thing that even the most ardent Arizona fan who hates ASU can admit that, like, we want these games to matter at the end of the season.
Yeah,
like,
100%.
2014-15 was a fun-ass end-of-the-season rivalry game, Pac-12 South on the line. It was just phenomenal. And a New Year's Six bowl game was on the line as well, because Arizona won that game, ended up going to the Fiesta Bowl. And so you know, those are the things that we want to focus on. And so, you know, one of the other things that as we try to navigate this season is that, you know, we want to make sure that we're focusing on development and how things are going along for this team. We really want them to improve year after year, and the way Jedd Fisch's program has improved year after year has been significant. And I think the player development that they've shown that they can build, they've really got a professional mindset. And I like that. I think that is going to be beneficial to this program as they move forward. So just a lot of cool things that are going on within this realm.
Yeah,
I guess you could say.
I agree. And then listen, not to keep bringing up ASU, but it's my favorite reference. Like, before Kenny was hired, like, I said a number of times on that ASU show that ASU should be trying to hire a coach like Jedd Fisch. Like, you could clearly see, especially with where U of A was prior to Jedd Fisch and before, especially before last year, like, it obviously was not very good, and Jedd Fisch, at the very least, provided excitement and hope for U of A fans, and I think that's all you could really ask for when you're the program was in the state that it was. And he's done more than that, I think, at this point, especially with some of the transfers, and obviously JDL just as a player is terrific. So that doesn't obviously happen without without Jedd Fisch. Not Tommy Lloyd either. Obviously, a great coach in his own right too. Without Jedd Fisch, that obviously doesn't happen. So.
For sure.
From an unbiased college football fan perspective, he's obviously one hell of a coach, or at least one hell of a program builder.
Well, yeah, and I think this is the year, folks, that we're going to test and we're going to find out a lot about Jedd Fisch. Can he take this program from one win a couple years ago to now 5 to a bowl game and then beyond? Can you see that projection? You know, listen, you're either going up or you're going down. And one thing you don't want to do is thwart your own momentum. And I think Jedd Fisch has an eye on that. He's been able to recruit at a high level, obviously, with Elijah Rushing and multiple other recruits that have committed to this program. And in-state, he's focused on in-state players, especially down in Tucson, which is great. You got to take care of your own hood.
Yeah.
If you don't know how I feel about the former coach before Jedd Fisch, I'm here to tell you that was an abject disaster. And I don't think there's a coach in the history of sports that I've detested more than Kevin Sumlin.
Yeah, I mean, he didn't even make an effort at Bijan, correct?
No, didn't even try. Not only that, but like he didn't try in general.
Yeah.
Like it just,
kind of the vibe
it was such a lack of effort, and he just took the check and went home, and it was terrible from the jump. It was awful. You could see it. I was on board with it at the time when they made that hire, but now they're in a much better position because again, you have to build the foundation from the ground up, and you couldn't get any lower than when Jedd Fisch came in and took this program over, and now he's built it into a decent program right now with the hopes that it'll be a significantly stronger program moving forward, and I'm very excited about that. And I'm also excited about the fact that this rivalry game with ASU and U of A was going to be more significant, I feel like, this year. Because
I agree.
Kenny Dillingham's going to try to set the tone himself over at ASU, and there's a lot of things on the line over there. They have some talent, too, and I would say I wouldn't sleep on them, but I just feel like U of A is ready to take that next step. I feel like the program's in a little bit of a further place down the road because they've been in the program for a couple years. And more importantly, I feel like players are going to start identifying with this program as a professional type of program like they do. I'm not saying they're going to be Alabama people, but I'm saying that mindset has to be the same because players want to get to the league. They want to get to that next step. They want to make money. And you can't do that if you're playing for some bum-ass program. You have to be an elite program or at least a respectable program. And now I feel like Arizona, if they make a bowl game this year, will be a respectable program moving forward that you can always point to and be like, yeah, they got their shit together. They know where they're going. The trajectory is good. I want to go play for the Wildcats.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, I don't think it's unfair to say that the program was a bit of a laughingstock prior to Jedd Fisch, and that is not an easy thing to overcome, right? Like, it's one thing for the program to just kind of be bad or middling. Like, you could beat Texas, for example, who is just kind of always average, and they don't really accomplish anything over the last decade, 15 years. That's one, but it's another thing to be losing to your biggest rival 70-7, for example, and to recover as fast as Jedd Fisch seems to have.
To throw that in there.
Oh yeah, I mean, but it's one thing for Jedd Fisch to recover as fast as like the speed at which this program has become respectable again is super impressive to me.
Yeah.
It's not something that every coach would be capable of doing.
For sure. Like I said, momentarily we will have Jedd Fisch on the program as people start to make their way around this media row, if you will. Just had Kyle Whittingham. He's literally right next door. He's a lot bigger than I thought he was. Man, he is jacked.
Sometimes I forget that head coaches also played football before, and like some of them are big dudes.
Some of them. I don't think Jedd Fisch. I don't think he. If he played, he was probably like a kicker or something.
Yeah, I mean, he's not a
little tiny guy.
He's a little taller though. He's a little taller.
He's taller. I mean, he's average. He's an average person. He's not he's not stacked. You know what I mean? So, I kind of lost my track. Oh yeah, there we go. As always, though, if you want to be jacked, don't take OGs because that's not going to do it for you. But OGs will get you living life to your fullest because it is a phenomenal brand. Check them out at ogsbrands.com. It is one of the best edibles in the game. You can check it out. It is the best edible in the game. Listen, the Happy Balance 1-to-1 CBD THC ratio to me is the best edible that they have. You can get it at Strawberries and Cream. It is just. When you want to mellow out, you got some aches and pains. Like I woke up this morning with a damn bum ankle. I don't even know what happened. All we did was walk to a casino to gamble across the street. It wasn't even like we walked miles. And then I woke up and I'm limping and stuff. After this, I might have to pop in OGs and just chill out for a little bit and just kind of vibe over by the Circle Pool. So check them out at ogsbrands.com. Don't miss it. Don't miss when it comes to flavor and effect. So get your pink lemonade gummies while you can. It is a limited edition. It just came out. Check out OG's Brands at ogsbrands.com and on Instagram at ogsbrands. You can also find their products at your local dispensary. You must be 21 years of age or older to purchase. And then also, a couple dudes got together. They started making some cool shit, and you can get some cool shit at Saturday Neon. We have one of the big U of A lights like you've seen on Mike's wall behind him. You can go to Saturday Neon and get one of those yourself because Saturday Neon is legit where it's at. For any purchase over $200 by using promo code PHNX, you can save 10% off your order today. They also have a big long sign that says bear down that you can get. And they only represent the best of the best. That's why they don't represent
That's
ASU. Crazy.
That's uncalled for, but understood. I was going to get on here and say, I don't even like U of A, but the sign looks really nice.
Yeah, I'm sorry. It does look really nice. It has a remote switch that you can dim the neon on. Dude, it's just awesome. They give you all the tools that you need to anchor it to the wall. It's a one-stop shop kit. It's fantastic. So check them out, SaturdayNeon.com. Save yourself some cash for any order over $200. It's going to be awesome. As we wait for Jedd Fisch to come over here, let's talk about the future of this conference. Let's go back to George Kliavkoff. I know Mike has mentioned it millions of times. Mike has talked to Jason Scheer on this show about where this conference is going. One of the things that I think is in the best interest of Arizona from a non-football perspective is definitely going to the Big 12. And I think from a football perspective, to some degree, you could say it's a good move too, just because of what you're missing out on in this conference. Because you got to assume at some point Washington and Oregon are going to make a move.
Yeah.
I just don't see how they're going to stick around the Pac-12 with no other elite program to supplement them. There's no USC. USC is the bell cow, obviously, of the Pac-12. Like that's undeniable. They have multiple national championships. They get the best players. You lose them to the Big Ten, which is asinine in itself, and I still can't wrap my head around the fact that USC is literally going to travel to was it Piscataway, New Jersey, to play
the
Rutgers?
That is literally, you can't get much further. You can go play Maine if you want.
It's just crazy to me that might happen. So
it's coming.
Yeah, it is happening. It's just nuts. I just don't understand it. But regardless, you got to focus on what's best for this conference and for this school and this this school. I just feel like they need to make the move to the Big 12 because I think football-wise, you can still be dominant. You can still grow within that conference. You have TCU, who just made it to the national championship. We'll see if they're a one-hit wonder or not. Yeah. It could be, but you have good programs like Texas Tech. Houston's joining the fold.
BYU, Cincinnati, UCF all joined. Yep,
exactly. Like West Virginia's no slouch. Kansas State.
It's just definitely the third best conference. Like it is obviously 100%. The Big Two, and then the Big 12 is on a different level than the ACC and Pac-12 at this point.
I wholeheartedly agree. I do feel like in the last couple of years they've taken that leap above the ACC, especially with Clemson kind of falling back to the pack.
Which is impressive, losing Clemson or losing Texas and Oklahoma, to still be a respectable conference.
1,000,000%. So from a football standpoint, this is the move. This is what you got to do, and we're excited for that. But you got to make sure that. That you're ready to go. And as I say that, of course, the man of the hour right here, the one, the only, Mr. Coach Jedd Fisch. Coach, how's it going, man?
Great. How are you?
I'm fantastic. Thanks for joining the program. Usually it's Mike Luke here giving you, the business, but it's me today.
Okay.
So let's have some fun. First of all, how are you doing? How's your off season? How's everything going?
I'm doing great. I just got back from a little bit of a vacation. Took a couple of weeks away, and feel great. Feel refreshed, and can't wait to get back with our guys and start things up again. I guess Monday, August 1st.
As you evaluate everything over the course of the last couple of years, how would you feel in terms of when you took this job and your mindset and the vision for where you're going? Would you say you guys are on track with how you projected you to be?
Yeah, well, I don't think you ever know. I mean, you're taking over a program that their last game that they played was a 9-touchdown loss to their rival. So you don't really know where really the program is until you get there. And then you got to really spend that first year just trying to assess the program. And I called it year zero. And I said, we got to really see what this program looks like. Then start to build. And last year was really about the build. And then this year for us, it's about earning the right to have these conversations, earning the right for people to say, you should be a bowl team, or, will you be a top 25 team, or, how good's your offense going to be? And when people start asking you those questions, you got to earn the right to have those answers. And that's kind of where we're at right now. We're probably in that where I thought we would be going into year 3.
When you talk about players taking a leap, right, what does that look like to you, and who do you hope will take that next step for you going into this season?
Well, I would start by saying bigger, stronger, faster is always where it starts. What type of commitment have they made in the weight room? The next thing I would say is what type of leap are they making when it comes to film study and football knowledge and football acumen and football intelligence, and how are they doing in that regard? And then finally, I would say that leap comes from maturity and what type of teammate are they. I'm counting on guys like Jayden to be a big leader for us. Counting on Jacob Cowing and Mike Wiley and Jordan Morgan, who all chose not to leave to go to the NFL, to come back. And when they're going to chose to do that, now you got to lead. You got to lead. Defensively, we brought in Bill Norton from Georgia. Bill knows what it looks like to win a national championship. Yeah. Bill, tell the guys what that feels like. Justin Flo from Oregon. Daniel Hamili from Washington. When you look at those guys, these guys are guys that brought in, 11 wins, 12 wins, 13 wins, whatever it might be. They're going to be the ones that have to share that message on what it feels like.
Well, you just mentioned JDL. Let's talk about his season last year. A little erratic from time to time. When you're talking about on the field and just emotional maturity, what kind of conversations have you had with him in order to get the very best with him consistently this next season?
Yeah, I think every day is a conversation. And last year, there was a lot of learning. He had to learn me. I had to learn him. He had to learn the offense. You know, I've said this, that we were the only quarterback coach that didn't have any experience together in the conference. You know, you look at the guys that transferred in, they all had experience. You know, Caleb with Lincoln Riley from Oklahoma, or Michael Penix was at Indiana with DeBoer. You know, at Washington State, came from Incarnate Word. You know, so when you look at that, those experiences, we didn't have that. So we had to get to know each other better there. And I think that part of that has to do with him growing up. Part of it has to do with his maturing and his understanding the offense. It's not the same offense as he was accustomed to. Yeah. So it got hard for him at times. And when it got hard is when we started seeing some interceptions, when we started seeing some challenging plays, you know, 3 against Cal, 4 against Washington State. When we could avoid those, games like Washington, games like Colorado, games like USC, games like UCLA, ASU, you know, he was as good as anyone in the country. So every day we talk about growing up. Every day we talk about maturing. Every day we talk about making great decisions. And, you know, what Jayden has to do is realize that, you know, he's 21 or 22 years old. And every single day is going to be a challenging day for him to be able to grow and learn on how to become a professional player or certainly an elite college player.
You know, in this day and age of NIL and the transfer rules seemingly just being a free-for-all, Coach, if I was third string and I felt like I should be the starter, what's the conversation you have with a guy to keep their mind right and say, hey, you know, focus on the prize in terms of, you know, it's not always greener on the other side. You know, the grass isn't always green.
Yeah, I think the biggest challenge is when you have that conversation, you have to tell them, like, time is okay. It's okay to wait. It's okay to get better. It's okay to improve. The Arizona degree is a good degree. Yeah. Where do you want to go to? What are you thinking you're going to – if you're the third string at Arizona, where are you going to go play? And who's going to take you? And what does that decision mean? And now, is the education not going to be as good? Is the experience not going to be as good? Is, you know, you're 2 plays away, as we know. But more than that is, why do you need to just pick up and go? There's only going to be 22 starters. You knew that when you signed to come here. We didn't tell you we're going to sign 85 starters and we're going to play, you know, 42 on 42, right, with a kicker. So because of that, it's clear that you have to recognize that there's a competition that goes into it, but don't run away from competition. Embrace it and see how hard you can work. I think the biggest challenge is guys would prefer to leave than work hard.
Yeah. No, I totally agree. You know, I think one of the other things I would say is, I asked you about the lead question, but who's got you excited this year? Like, man, I can't wait to see them actually in a game instead of just practice, to see how they perform, like just in general. There's got to be a couple dudes that you're just like, oh, man, I love the way they hit. I can't
wait to see T-Mac.
Yeah.
You know, I can't wait to watch what T-Mac does this year. I think he's going to make the biggest jump on our team. You know, remember, he was only a freshman last year. And I can't wait to see that jump. I can't wait to see Mike Wiley. Mike Wiley and Jonah Coleman. I think our running backs are really, really good. And that's going to be a huge jump. And then, you know, I have this intrigue of Justin Flo. Yeah. It's okay. Well, this guy's let's call it number 1 player in the state of California when he came out. Mm-hmm. Highest ranked player. What does that look like? You know, what does this 5-star linebacker look like on our field? What type of plays is he going to create? What type of plays is he going to make? So I would say those 4 guys right now are standing out to me, but clearly I always want to see our quarterback play at the highest level. I can't wait to see Jordan Morgan back. He's dominated rehab. So now it's a matter of seeing how he handles being back in action.
You know, I don't like to say goals, because goals, I feel like, put a ceiling on what you can achieve. So I like to say thresholds instead, so you can just pass them by. This year will be a successful season if
we stay healthy. I don't know, wins and losses. I don't know. Do we go be great? Go be great. You know, I've challenged our program, and I've challenged our university and our team to go be great. Go be great at football. Don't just be good at it. Don't be average at it. You know, figure out a way that everything is going to, you know, matter to you, that you're going to go be great. Yeah. And you're going to go find a way to really take this thing to a whole other level.
Yeah. I mean, like John Wooden said, it's not about wins or losses. It's just about the process, right?
Yeah.
Coach. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you.
That's Coach Jedd Fisch for your Arizona Wildcats. Thanks for joining us on the program today. Listen, man, I'm hyped up. I'm hyped up about the future of this program, and they're in good hands with that gentleman, folks. And as always, you can be in good hands if you just throw on some Shady Rays with your hands. How about that? Shady Rays, one of the best sunglasses in the game. You should check them out. And exclusively for our listeners, Shady Rays is giving out their best deal of the season. Go to shadyrays.com and use promo code PHNX for 50% off of 2 pairs of polarized sunglasses. Try for yourself the shades rated 5 stars by over 250,000 people. And then you can wear those Shady Rays on the patio of Illegal Pete's, because Illegal Pete's is some of the best Mexican food you can get in the Valley. Check them out over at Illegal Pete's. Illegal Pete's is your go-to spot for summer. Kick back and enjoy an ice-cold margarita or cool off with a bucket of High Noons. I mean, who doesn't like a bucket of High Noons, especially in the middle of a hot-ass summer day?
A handful of people drinking High Noons last night, and it's nice and warm up here, so it sounds good at Illegal Pete's.
Yeah, and you can get 5 of them at Illegal Pete's for just $22.
Which is like the price of 1 in Las Vegas.
Exactly. Unless you're at the
that's true. If you're playing, drinks are free.
There we go. Just keep them coming, baby. And don't forget to follow at Illegal Pete's on Instagram to stay updated on all their big events and deals going down this summer. Stay tuned on their stories to win free tickets to the concerts you are dying to see. How about that? Like, they give back if you just invest in them. Illegal Pete's is here to make this summer one for the books. It already is one for the books, folks. It is hot as hell out there, but it's cool inside here, and it feels like the temperature of this U of A program is also getting hotter, just like the temperature. So hopefully they can keep it going. We appreciate you for joining us today on this episode of the AZ Wildcats Podcast. As always, you can follow us on Twitter at PHNX_Wildcats. You can follow me at Saul Bookman. Mike Luke is out probably like jumping in the rivers of Lake Minnetonka? There you go. Or it's Lake Tahoe or whatever. It doesn't matter. He's out there having fun. A well-deserved time off. He tried to do this show from the road, and I refused to let him because brother needs a day off. So I'm here, substitute for him. I hope you guys tolerated me and appreciated some of the interviews that we brought today. Always back the A, and we will see you tomorrow for another special edition of the PHNX Wildcats podcast, or the AZ Wildcats podcast here on PHNX Sports. Until next time, bear down.